Ups and downs of AEW. AEW is a younger company than WWE. They are doing some things great, some things horrible. There's some things that we need to panic and worry about. There's some things that look amazing. But one of the downs right now is attendance. There have been some small attendance, and I feel fans, Tony Khan and AEW, sometimes forget how young they are and should grow more slowly. And that's not a knock on AEW. I just think them trying to tour everywhere, them going from arena to arena and having such low numbers, it needs to change. And I think you got to see it more as a territory and see it in smaller buildings. Because a smaller building packed looks way better than an empty building.
It's not just that, though. They have three things working against them for ticket sales. One is the very, very obvious one. They tend to last minute start basically selling tickets crazy cheap because they want to fill the arena. They want to fill it. So they'll mark down all the tickets. So if you buy early, you kind of get... It's not a great mental feeling to buy your ticket full price and then have all the tickets go on sale dirt cheap at the last second. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Nobody's
definitely.
really stoked about that because they aren't cutting you in on the discount, you know? So I think that hurts for them selling tickets when people know that's a thing. There have been a lot of reports from people who went to events and they've paid a set amount of money for a specific, like, one story was they paid for first row, but first row they had set up so the first row extended way past where you would think it would, and kept going, and basically the seats didn't really feel like first row at all. There were other ones where they changed where hard cam was going to be before the actual show, and it made it where some of the seats were now in shitty spots behind the camera and couldn't see anymore, stuff like that. And there are a lot of stories you hear like that from attendants, which don't make you eager to go.
Yeah.
But the third thing that I think is really screwing them is they keep going into the same cities that WWE's just been in. And I don't know how that's a good idea
And
to
I
like
believe,
keep tapping the markets WWE just left.
yeah, that's silly. But there's two things I want to bring up. The ticket thing, that's one thing Japan does good. If the arena is empty or packed, the ticket price is the ticket price. It is high, but at the same time, yen is crashing. And as far as, picking where they choose, I think they're running Super Bowl weekend next to the Super Bowl. That's insane. That's just insane. I think they have to pick more wisely, and I think they have to grow little by little. Like, even when WWF, I don't know how many W's there were. There was a lot in the beginning. When they took over territories, they did it little by little.
They started out in New England and spread.
Yeah. And I feel like a company as young as AEW, because a lot of people are like, oh, you should be just as big as WWE. And it's like, no, it shouldn't be that way. But some people don't live in the real world. But I think Tony's one of those guys that don't live in the real world. I think you're like, hey, man, you got to know what sells, what doesn't sell, and hit smaller arenas and then bigger ones. Because it's always better to have 2,000 people in a 2,000 people arena than having 2,000 people in a 40,000 arena. And I think that's what they have to start considering. And
Yeah, actually getting arenas that are more toward what they can book.
and it'll look better on television. And on top of it looking better on television, the atmosphere will be better. And I think ratings wise, they're doing pretty good for how young the company is in this day and age. It's obviously not as good as WWE, but I think it's silly to compare the two. So they're doing pretty good with that. And the ups are they're signing a lot of great wrestlers. and they're going more the sports route. I do like the fact that AEW goes a sports route, and then Netflix is like, we'd like to see it the more sports route. And I'm just shaking my fist in the air. I've been saying it for years. And then New Japan's like, you know what? Let's fucking have 27 bad guys do run-ins. Rail guards. For those that don't know, I went to a Cork and Hall show, and they ran into the rail guards 8 billion times. I counted. It's like, all right, rail guards. So there are goods and bad about AEW, but the bad can be changed within a couple months. Obviously, if you have deals with these venues, you can't bail out. But just going to smaller venues matter. And I don't know, just atmosphere and all that. Because at first it was a little ridiculous. It was like, oh, look, at 3 o'clock in the morning, there ain't many people here. You know, oh my God, they tarp off areas. I can't believe it. I think that was ridiculous. But now it's got to the point where it's becoming more and more of a problem. And it's one of those things, if people believe there's a problem, people are going to do it. And the ticket price thing, I didn't know about that. That's insane. Because no one's going to order tickets if they're going to drop the price.
Yeah,
they got to fix that problem.
Where they'll do like last few days sales.
Yeah. I mean, I know you got to pack the place, but that's a bad way of going about it.
That's been going on for a while. They've been doing that. Like, yeah. I remember hearing about that before All In even.
Yeah, because I go this year. It's only January, but February I'm buying the tickets and stuff. I'm going to 3 or 4 events a month. 3 or 4 events a week. It's just one of my like side goals that I want to do. If I know the price ticket will drop, I'm not rushing to get that ticket. Where me, I'm like, oh, I know the ticket's the same price. Let me order. You know, it's the end of the month, so I'm like, okay, I'll order my February tickets now. But I wouldn't do that if I knew they were going to drop the price. That's insane.
No, if you know they're going to drop the price, you're just going to wait and get them last minute.
Yeah. I know that, but even if it sells out, you're like, oh, well, I lost the game. It's like you're making get people that would guarantee buy tickets play eBay sniping. It's like, oh, I'm just going to wait this out, see what happens. Where it definitely, my thing is, I would just lower the tickets overall and get smaller places. And sometimes you have to take one step back to take 2 steps forward, and I think that's one of the chances.
I've always believed that, the ticket prices, if you're not selling out, or coming close, you probably need to lower your ticket price.
Yeah.
And if you are selling out, that's when you start raising your ticket price.
Yeah.
If you're getting close to, or you are. Because at that point, clearly the need's being met, thus the demand is higher.
Yeah. Or you could be just like Japan. The price is the price. If the arena's empty, fuck it. If the arena's full, you know what I mean? But then also, if you do that...
That's not really a strategy for trying to grow, though. That's this is what it is.
Yeah, but it builds trust, and the only debate we have buying the tickets, because I buy tickets for my friends too, they always go, what's the card? And I think that there's pressure on the company to be better, because everyone knows what the price is, if that makes sense. So yeah,
I guess.
But there are ups. We talked a lot of downs, and sometimes you can beat up the downs.
I'm just saying, though, I could choose not to go to the cheaper ticket show if I don't know the card, too.
That's true. You
don't have to milk me to tell me who's on the card.
That's true. So, yeah. I don't know. I guess there's a benefit. But basically, maybe Japan doesn't have it right. But AEW definitely doesn't have it right.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how WWE works. I was, this is going to sound so douchey. I always just got free tickets. I don't know how WWE works.
You pay, and then you get a seat, and you go sit there, and you watch it.
So it's just like a normal sporting event? They don't they don't lower the price and all that?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah. Plus, they're so hot right now, so they don't have to really worry about that, as long as they keep it going.
Yeah, I can't see WWE micromanaging ticket price.
Yeah.
Prices.
Man, you did tired. What is it, like 4 o'clock in the morning where you are?
3.
So let's talk about the ups. There's a good chance you have Okada. There's a good chance you have Mercedes Moné. You're going to a sports featured thing, and you're bringing back the rankings. So there is ups and downs of AEW, and I do believe people harshly or praise it way too much. So, what do you think? Tony Khan says 2024 is going to be like 2021, where they're going to be hot and grow. Do you think this is going to be a good year for AEW?
I think AEW should focus on finding its identity, which it seems like it wants to. Is it wants to get back to its core identity, and I think that's good. I don't know if that's. I think that's going to be a good thing for AEW overall. I don't know if it'll be a good thing in terms of the short picture, because the reality is there were probably a lot of people watching AEW just because they wanted something that wasn't WWE, and now WWE is actually better and feels different than it used to, and it's under a new booker, so people are treating it different. And AEW is never going to be the alternative to WWE because it's not going to be sports entertainment to the same level. So it's not going to be the same product that people will just swap to. And I think you're going to lose those people when you focus on your core identity. But overall, focusing on your core identity is going to make you a better brand and make you grow more.
Well said, Raccoon. I agree 100%.